We are live here at Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined, as always, by the technician, Chris Aceto.
And the misfits in the comment section.
Right. On this May 8th, 2022 evening. And Chris, we had I guess we're back to having the annual NPC IFBB Pittsburgh Super Extravaganza guest posing going on in Pittsburgh again. It's always the first week in May. You know, COVID kind of the last 2 years kind of screwed things up, but I think we're back to our regular schedule, and it did not disappoint. Right, we had some great bodybuilders on stage: Nick Walker, Hunter Labrada, Brandon Curry, and what's his name? Who am I forgetting?
Number one in that group, Derik Lunsford.
No, Lunsford, excuse me. Yeah. Who didn't even look like a 212 guy. He looked like an open guy. He was so freaky.
Yeah, he blew those guys right off the stage.
Yeah. What did you do on this Mother's Day 2022?
Besides calling my mother, I didn't even see my mother. No. I spent the day with my family. Breakfast in bed, Dave.
Wow.
Compliments of the 16-year-old Fareed. Then I went out and raked leaves, weeded the garden, did all the manual stuff.
Yeah.
And then let's see what else I do today.
Jimmy the Bull Pletchett sends me this a video of him cooking this like Italian breakfast. He had like sausage and peppers and scrambled eggs and all kinds of crazy cheeses on the plate. And I said, Jimmy, listen to me. Because, you know, Jimmy's like a clone of my father, right? You know that, right?
Yeah.
I tell you that all the time. I said, Jimmy, if you call me from the emergency room at like 12 midnight or text me telling me that you're having a heart attack and that you're in the emergency room, I am going to hang the phone up, I said. Because you know he's going to get like indigestion, and he's going to get the heart palpitations and pain, and then he's going to get all freaked out. And he's going to think he's having a heart attack. Every time he does this. My father used to do the same thing. My father would go out to eat with his friends.
They'd eat too much.
He'd eat too much. They drink tons of alcohol. And I'm sure Jimmy did the same thing. And then he would be having a heart attack in the middle of the night. He'd tell me, you know, indigestion mimics a heart attack. A lot of people don't realize that it's the same exact symptoms. Exactly. Except when you take an Alka-Seltzer or Tums after, you know, when you think you're having a heart attack and it disappears, then it's not a heart attack.
Yeah, it goes away. I told you, Dave, one time I had acid indigestion. I thought I was having a heart attack. Yeah. I remember exactly where I was sitting in my office when I called you. I said, Dave, I think I'm having a heart attack. And you laughed at me. You said, you're not having a heart attack. You never took, you know.
Because I know you're healthy as a horse. We got our special guest joining us today, Derik Farnsworth.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Derik. Can you turn your phone sideways for us?
Yeah.
There we go.
The massage technician.
I was wondering who's going to bring out that power tool.
I got a new one now. It's a lot quieter.
All right,
like 5 times as much money though. But you can put it on your jaw. You can put it anywhere. So.
Oh, really? Do you notice that Derik's looking a little like Steve Blackman with those glasses on?
Oh God, don't go there.
Those are
the I'm not squeezing these, but terrible.
So what's going on in your life, Derik? We haven't talked to you in a while.
Just busy, and you know, now that the gym's normal, keep making money now. So you know, our owners are great. They're anti everything, you know, up there. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I moved my office from upstairs to downstairs, so I have more access, and then I do massage, newbie, and training and nutrition. So.
You have got that been at that gym longer than anyone there. I
20 years, yeah. I came out in April of 21. 2001.
Are you still seeing as many clients as you always have? You know, like killing yourself?
Well, the only difference is because with the newbie, I can do like double and triple, so I try to cut my hours down. So I do like 3 clients at a time, 2 at a time, and you know. So
I love it. Don't you love, Chris, that Derik still got that crazy work ethic? You know,
No, because he's got the work ethic, and he's got the training ethic too.
Yeah. I did legs today, baby.
Say he did legs today, baby. No injuries, no pain. I sit at my desk and I get pain.
How old are you now, Derik? Are you?
I'll be 52 in July.
I was gonna say you're a little younger than me. I knew that, but I didn't know if you crossed the 50 barrier yet. So
I always send Jay a bunch of videos of me training. Says I'm stupid, so
Yeah.
I didn't.
Meanwhile, Jay still trains hard too. You know he does. So.
Yeah.
Derek's mother went on her honeymoon to the Windsong Motel in Old Orchard Beach, Maine.
Yeah.
Really?
Dave, I walk by that hotel probably 20 times a year, and every time I walk by it, I think of Derik.
I'm surprised you don't own that hotel by now.
Me too.
Right?
Soon.
Me too.
I know you probably pass by and say, "Man,
yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I obsess about everything. You know, I'm like, Derik. What are you a Capricorn, Derik?
Leo.
Well, you're still obsessed about everything.
You're lying. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I always laugh too. Like I hear you talk about the newbie, about how you like it. I start laughing. I want to jump out of here and mess with you. You know.
About what?
The newbie machine, the electronic machine, electrodes.
Oh,
God, Derik. You know what? Did you ever hear one of Warren Buffett's worst investments ever was airlines? And he said if he could go back in a time machine and just murder the Wright brothers, he would do it. You know, because he made Derik wants to murder the guys who built that machine.
No, I have one.
Oh, are you kidding me?
You do?
Yeah, I work
now. Oh no, you're soft now.
He's increased his productivity now.
I'll knock you up. No. I'll knock my boys out in 8 sets of North. Here's the key: is if you're young, never use
the key. The key.
It's for older people. That's why I say older people and injuries, and it's only a tool. You're not to use it every day.
No, I thought you were gonna. I thought you were using that machine and doing like leg extensions instead.
My guys are doing 8 plates on a leg press, squatting. You know, they're on the floor in 8 sets. You know, it's only a tool to make things better. You don't change your training style. No way.
I'll tell you one thing with Derik. When you worked on me, that was right after I got my first shoulder replacement, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And I was so nervous, but I'm telling you, he released. I had my mobility was like double what it was before I went in there, and he was firm, but you could tell he instinctually knew what he shouldn't touch and what he should touch.
Yeah, the nerves. Yeah.
I felt very comfortable like him working on it, whereas other people.
I appreciate it, Dave. I worked on you one time. I think it was 2014, and I was doing the Dallas Europa.
Oh yeah.
And we were down there, and you had Amanda, and Amanda's like, "Work on it." It was like Thursday before the show, and I'm doing therapies on you.
Yeah, that was before I ever got my shoulder done. I was in agony. So yeah, you look, you got a magic touch. There's no doubt. I wish you lived around the corner from me. I can't find a fucking person to work on me around.
Dave, here. I always tell my kids if he lived within 3 hours of me, 4 hours, I'd drive down there once a week.
You said that. You said every time I see you, says that. Yeah,
I would too.
I get nervous because my guy. He almost must retire, and I get nervous as hell. I'm teaching my girl how to do it. She has a really firm grip, so.
Well, we were just mentioning earlier, Derik, we'll bring it up again. We had this guest posing, this Pittsburgh guest posing. We have it every year, obviously. And before we talk about who wasn't there, let's talk a little bit about who was there. Derek Lunsford, Hunter Labrada, Brandon Curry, and Nick Walker. And what a bunch of freaks those guys are, huh? Wasn't this? I actually felt like for the first time that I was kind of excited about watching this.
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
the pictures and everything like that. Who impressed you the most?
Derik by a mile.
Chris?
Derik by 3 miles.
Should Derik do? I mean, can Derik do the Open and be a top 5 Olympian?
Yep, I say 100%.
100% piece of cake.
Yeah,
he'd beat Hardy for sure.
Wow, that's saying a lot.
Derik, you know what people don't realize is that Derik has blown his prep for the 212 like almost every year, almost including last year. So he's always posted these pictures of him being like blown out crazy. I remember when Sergio had gone second in Tampa, he was second in Chicago, he went down to Florida, and he was taking pictures, and he was like 2 weeks out from a pro show, and Derik was like 14 weeks out from the 212, and Derik looked like he was going to demolish a men's open show. He was doing the poses with Sergio, who was 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
And then Jose had told me, he said, 2 years running, this is the best off-season bodybuilder I've seen, like ever.
Yeah.
But for him to come down to 212, I've said it every year.
Yep.
It's a mistake. Yeah.
It's like there's no analogy for it because
Kevin English used to do it. You guys remember when Kevin would be 280, and even if he lied and he was only 260 in the offseason, he was huge. I used to see him behind the desk at Bev's, and then he would suck down to 202, you know. And
I remember those. I worked on him his last Olympia right after he came off stage for prejudging. He couldn't do a lat spread. His shoulder got locked up, and I went to his hotel, unbroke him, and then got him back on stage for the night show.
I think what happened was as his career, as he got older, he started getting very he couldn't move anymore, right?
Yeah, he was bound. Yeah, it was crazy when I saw him. I was like, wow.
And he was the kind of guy that would go for therapy too. So I just think sometimes you get older, you just lose
So Dave, back to Derik. I mean, my point was that he's always been like a freakazoid in the off season, and whenever I've seen pictures of I've helped like Jose, who's beaten him, Camilo, who's beaten him. And at no point, the irony is when he's been massive, like with 9 weeks out, I've always said, there's no way he'll beat Jose or Kamal, which he did last year, of course, because he's just too impressive, if that makes sense.
9
too
weeks
lean. And he's not 216 and 217. He's probably like
230.
Yeah. So this year, it's the same old, plus another probably 7, 8, 10 pounds of muscle.
For some reason, when he comes down in weight, though, I feel like he loses some wow. Like he doesn't get that. Like
Dave, he loses all the wow.
He's an
open guy.
He has no pop in his chest because he comes down too much.
Right,
Derik. Only you who've been around for as many years as you've been around. I sound like a broken record. I say that to Jose too. His chest dissolves. Look how crazy he is in Pittsburgh with the full pack.
Everything is just popping. When he comes down, it's not that he doesn't have the muscle, he just comes down too much. He's an open guy, 100%.
He's dangerous. Listen,
go to open.
His legs at this guest posing,
they were crazy.
They demolish, people in the Olympia's legs the day of the show.
Yeah.
You're right.
His stomach was pulled in. He had pretty much a vacuum in his front double bicep.
Crazy front double bicep.
Yep.
I will say this: this was the first year that the guest poses all were in shape. You notice that? Like everyone looked good and polished. They were all tanned up, which you always see. Someone who looked terrible. Remember when Roden did it? How horrible he looked that one year, and then he went and he won the Olympia that year, right?
Yep. So
there goes that whole theory about looking good for the Pittsburgh guest posing, right? So
the one who looked the worst of the bunch here is Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, but Brandon's never really a great off-season guy because he's a shape. The shape and symmetry guys never look good in the off-season.
He's not bridging, Dave, is what the answer is. I mean, that's just a fact.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't judge him the way he looks here because he just came off a show. He probably hasn't trained. He's not bridging, so he's relaxing, which is probably the best thing that he can do. Because when he puts it into first, second, third gear, his body's going to change.
Sure.
But if you look at you ask the uneducated person, who's the least impressive there, you'd have to say Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, he had the least amount of, I guess, wow. But his wow, it comes from his, it was like same thing with Roden. Their wow came from standing on stage and making everyone else look bad. That's their wow. It's hard to sometimes, explain that to someone other than to say you got to see it, to believe it, type of thing. I guess the big elephant in the room is where the fuck was Ramy? Wasn't Ramy supposed to be here? He was on the poster. Everyone, all the guys I talked to, I'm not going to mention names. No one knows what happened to Ramy. No, he didn't call. DJ doesn't know. No one knows where he is.
I heard somebody predicted that, Dave.
I'm trying to give you credit here. You actually said he was not going to show up.
When did I say that?
Why did you say that? What made you?
Because I make all these predictions, dude. Because he wasn't at the Arnold.
Yeah, well, he didn't have to go to the Arnold. There's no reason to. What made you think in the back of your head, you know what, Ramy's going to it's just not going to show up for the Pittsburgh? Because no one does that. No one stiffs Mannion. When Jim Mannion invites you, you show up, right? I mean, that's standard operating.
Dave, it's just strange that off the air we had the conversation. I said I will 100% guarantee. 100%. I told you.
Right. Well, I think
maybe who's the lady you like? The lady who reads tarot cards, and the one.
Who?
The Long Island Madam.
Oh, yeah. Teresa Caputo. She could have predicted that. But think about it. Remember when Ramy pretended he had COVID, and I really called him out on that, and they showed the test, and they showed him sticking the thing up his nose to try to make everyone believe that he really did have COVID. And then he had to get that special invite to the Olympia because of that. That's like standard operating procedure for Ramy. It seems like,
It's but nice to see how he looked next to the 212 guy.
Yeah, that'd be very cool.
Do you think he didn't show up because he didn't like the way he looked? Because he looked like he was looking pretty good in the Instagram pictures he's been putting up.
No, I'm sure he looks crazy.
So why not show up? I don't get it. That's your job, right, Derik? I mean, when your job is bodybuilding,
represent the Olympia. Yep, he's gonna make. You got to be seen.
Derik would not be late for a workout. That's a fact. Derik Farnsworth. If I was training with Derik Farnsworth, or he was training with me, we're training for the main state show, let alone the Nationals or Olympia, he would not miss a workout.
Yeah.
He would not be late for a workout. And if he was going to be late for a workout, he'd tell me exactly what time he was going to be there. Right, Derik?
Exactly. I mean, that's what we love to do. And he represents all of us. That's how, you know what I mean? I mean, when Jay was Mr. Olympia, when Brandon was Mr. Olympia, you know what I mean? They should. But nowadays.
If Jay was in a car crash as Mr. Olympia,
he'd be in a wheelchair.
That's you took it right for he'd take it and Derik. He'd be in a wheelchair, and he'd take his shirt off.
No,
and he'd give a little speech. It's true.
He'd be apologizing to the audience because he got hit.
If you're a top level body, you don't even have to be Mr. Olympia. If you're a top,
he would be apologizing, but to be in a wheelchair.
If you're a top level bodybuilder and you give your word that you're going to be someplace, you show up. That's your job. That's what you're getting paid for. And if you can't make it because God forbid you're really sick or something's going on, Ramy has a lot of cronies around him. If Ramy couldn't pick the phone up himself and make the phone call, someone else could have called or texted someone over in Pittsburgh there and told him, you know what, hey, Ramy's sick, he can't make it. But no one seems to know what's going on with him.
Maybe he got a breakthrough COVID case again, like the one in Spain.
I heard rumors, and they're probably not true, but I like to throw them out there anyway because it's good. It's kind of funny to speculate. But I heard rumors that he's not we're never going to see him on stage again. That's it. He's done.
Oh, I didn't make that prediction, Dave. Just so people don't.
That's just what I heard, from my source, but I don't know if that's true because no one's really talked to him. I think he's probably saying that because he's trying to make people feel bad for him and then say, no, Ramy, it's okay. Come back, compete. It's all right that you missed the most important guest posing of your career, I don't get it. I used to love traveling when I was a bodybuilder. I loved going to shows. It's like fun. He's the guest poser. He's Mr. Olympia 2 times. Why wouldn't you want to go to Pittsburgh and show everyone, hey, I'm here. I'm Mr. Olympia, right? I mean, what doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know. Maybe Derik has the answers.
I don't. I can't. I don't. I mean, just if you want to win the Mr. Olympia title, you know what comes with it. You just know you're representing every bodybuilder on the planet. That's our goal, to be that person, and to not show up. I mean, heaven forbid something's wrong, but at least call something and explain. I mean, go on your own Instagram and say, "Hey, sorry, I'm not going to be in Pittsburgh. Travel issues, whatever it is." But I mean, a lot of people want to show up and see him, and I wanted to see him. I mean, I worked with him the last 2 years before his show. I mean, I've become close to him and stuff, and just it just confuses me. I don't know, why he's. I mean, I know Dorian back in the day was quiet, but we didn't have social media like we do today. So I just don't know why he's being so distant. When you talk to him, he's a loving guy. And he's so friendly, but then he just disappears. You know, I don't get it.
He might be a little bit of a phony. That might be the truth. I heard, Derik, when you worked on him, that you lost your arm in his quad striations. Is that true? Your hand actually got.
He is so funny. He falls asleep.
I don't know how anyone can fall asleep with you working on him. It's not a pleasurable experience, you know.
He's so relaxed. He falls asleep. He's so funny. I was just like, he was like, thank you. He made me a cup of coffee and was like one of the best cup of coffees I've ever had. And I tell you not, Dennis's wife was right there, and he goes, "Let me make you a cup of coffee." And he only made one cup, not a big finger, but he's like, no, one cup. And then
maybe Randy could open a diner up in.
He could, man. The way that Turkish coffee tasted, I tell you, I was like, oh my God! I thought whatever coffee, but it was impressive.
Maybe he can open his own coffee shop in Egypt when he's done. I don't know. It just seems very weird. I noticed that Jay was there and Bumstead was there, and they didn't even guest post. So obviously they had no problem getting on an airplane and showing up. I don't get it. Well, Jay's not missed it. Jay doesn't have any reason to be there. You know, he went there probably to support, the show.
Yeah. Jay went for support.
He's flying every weekend.
But Jay loves to travel. He loves to go to all these shows and everything like that. And why wouldn't he? He's a 4-time Mr. Olympia. He's promoting his product line. He enjoys interacting with the crowd and the stands. That's what Ramy should look at Jay and say, that's the guy I want to be like. That's the Mr. Olympia I want to emulate. Because this guy is not only was a great Mr. Olympia and a good ambassador to the sport, but he was also a great and he still is a great businessman. And that's ultimately, you don't want to leave the sport and then have no money left. I don't get these guys. I really don't. I don't understand it. All right, let's move on. Everyone, one of the trolls in the chat wants me to move on. Did you guys take a look at the classic physique division at the Pittsburgh show?
Some of it, yeah.
What'd you think of the winner?
Is he from Germany? Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw Dennis Wolf and them. And what's his name over there? The German Wonder Boy. What's his name?
Urs.
Yeah, they were congratulating him. That's what he looked like. He reminded me a little bit of that guy, Mike. Who's that guy that Neil Hill was working with? Mike Best or something. What's the guy's name?
Mike Wheels or Mike.
Yeah, I mean, very Greek detail like him a little bit. Like they all have that certain V structure and everything. It's more rugged, that's for sure.
Well, Chris, you work with the second place guy, but let's talk about Alexander Westermeister, or I believe that's his name. I don't want to.
It sounds like.
Sounds German. Westermeister.
Sounds like Mel Brooks would try to pronounce.
Yeah, Alexander Westermeister. Sorry.
Westermeister.
Westermeister.
I thought he looked phenomenal.
I do. I'm going to put up. There's a couple poses that he's.
I thought Camilo, for example, was going to win. And then when I saw this guy, without seeing anyone else, when I saw the guy, the minute I saw him, I said, "Uh-oh, this guy's dangerous." Really detailed from head to toe from behind, which I don't think shows up in pictures because I did see a video of him on the hitting a back double, and he was like superb, really deep hams, good erectors, good traps.
He's got a good vacuum.
Good vacuum, good V taper. This is
legs,
great. Very good
really
legs.
Rugged.
That's a great shot right there.
How do you think he'll stack up in an Olympia lineup?
I think he's, what do you think, Derik?
7-8.
I'm just going to say, I think he's like in the first call of 8. Isn't that funny that you said that? I was going to say, he'd be in the first call up, but he wouldn't be in the first call out of 5.
No, 7-8,
Yeah, because there's too many guys who put together remarkably well. And he's put together great. But just, you start to get into
look at that right there.
Look at that back double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
this is a little more power.
I think that look is top 5 right there at the Olympia. But like you said, and when they stand next to these other guys, sometimes
the problem is you put them next to the King Munchkin. I got to think of a nickname for
Terrence.
Terrence. He's like, you think he's small, but he's not at all.
Yeah, but he's so round. He's so 3D.
Yeah, the king. Yeah.
When you look at that guy just posted right here, his legs are a little bit, they're not as rounded. He doesn't have a little bit lower lats that the top four will have.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So Derik, do you think we'll see Bumstead repeat again this year?
I mean, I think that yours is going to need 1 or 2 more years. And then, what's your guy's name again, Chris? I can't think of his name.
Camilo.
Ramon.
Yeah, I love the way he looked at the Arnold when I was there. You know what I mean? And I could see Ruffin. I had him winning condition wise, but I mean Ruffin, his shape just outdoes it. So I don't know if Ruffin can put on a couple pounds. I think he can really push Chris, and Chris has to be off a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know if he's training hard right now. He's in so his speed.
There's Camilo Diaz, second place. Phenomenal physique also.
Yep. He's in shape.
You know what's so funny, Dave, is a couple really well-known bodybuilders. I mean, anyhow, said about Camilo when he was competing in the open, he was open guy. If he can put on 8 kilograms, that's 16 pounds, he's going to be winning shows. The irony is he lost 8 kilograms here.
Yeah. That's true.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. It was Jay and Roden. Jay and Roden both said if he gained 15, 20 pounds, he'd be winning shows. And he ended up losing 12. I think he's 12 pounds difference on the scale compared to when he's in open.
What do you think about Neil Curry, who's third place here? Derik?
That's Milos' guy, right?
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think he was bringing Milos' shit.
What's the guy's name?
Neil Curry.
Neil Curry.
Yeah, I saw him compete last year. He's got crazy shape, though. He's got crazy glute tie-ins. I liked him when I saw him. When I saw him in person, I liked him too.
Yeah, thin skin, in shape.
Yep.
Big quads.
Yeah, flaring quads. Yeah, I think he needs maybe a little bit of arms and upper a little bit more, maybe.
Yeah, I think he's got the arms look a little bit wobbly.
Yeah, they just have that in certain shots, right? Lat spreads are beautiful.
Yeah, side chest, he looks like the legs are thin from the side and the shoulders and arms are thin from the side.
Front lat spread, back lat spreads. His V tape is incredible.
What do you think are the most important body parts when you're assessing a classic physique guy? Or are there body parts that are more important than others? Or is it about the flow and how they all kind of harmonize together?
I got to say flow.
100% agree.
In class, yeah.
100% agree.
I think
Derik, you nailed it with Ramon and Terrence. Ramon looked like the clear winner by himself. He's like, there's no way he's going to lose this show. None. Yeah. He's way denser and harder. Mm-hmm. You put Terrence next to him, and you start seeing.
Yeah, and what's that? That's flow.
You see remarkable flow, and you're like, well, and I can see Terrence winning this shot. I can see him winning this shot.
I stand next to Terrence, and I feel like I'm bigger than him. But then when you see him pose, I feel small. I look at my pictures and go, this guy makes me look blocky. That's how impressive he is. It's just he creates such an illusion with his body. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
That's Neil Curry, by the way. I love that Derik still compares himself to the top Olympia guys.
Well, why not?
I love it because we all do that, don't we? I mean, Derik admits it, but we all assess people based on how we see ourselves, right? Would I beat that guy at my best? I remember when I saw Lavroni, I say this all the time, in '96, and I was 315 pounds. He took his shirt off, and I was in his house, and I said, you know what? I better just fucking quit right now. I knew I could never beat him. There was no way I would ever beat that guy.
I stood next to Ruffin in 2016 Olympia, right? And he wasn't bigger than me, but he was just. When you look at the shape, it's that's genetics, and that's true love of bodybuilding. Just the flow of physique is even look at
no one loves bodybuilding more than you, Derik. I don't.
Derik, what place did Ruffin get in 16? 8th or 12th?
I think that's the one where I think it was 12, but the year after that, I was you need to be top 5. They had him in first call out, and he got knocked right out, and I got so upset because I'm there's no reason he should be out.
Derik, I've said it. The year Arash was second, Terrence was in the show, and he was puny.
Yep.
But he had the best physique on the stage.
Yeah, he was crazy looking. I'm thinking that when I saw that, it still made me upset because I'm like, when he stood there, I was like, oh my God. And then I saw him in person. I was like, oh my God. It just blew my mind that because remember, Danny Hester had won. And he was just a smaller version of Danny Hester, but crazy shape. And then I didn't realize how thin he was at the time. He's about 12 pounds heavier, I think, now than he was back then.
Yeah, on that.
He still has room to grow.
Yes, he
still has
does.
a lot of room to grow.
Maybe he'll do Pittsburgh next year and pull a Lunsford and just go into the Open.
How about the comeback of Sadiq Hadzovic winning the men's physique? Because remember, if people don't remember, Sadiq had gone from men's physique, where he won almost every title, including the Arnold, went up to classic physique. I think he did that Olympia. That's when you helped him, right, Chris? When he was
within 2 years. 2 years.
Yeah, he was third, and then he
competed the next year too. No, he competed the next year too.
Yeah, he competed.
Right, but I'm saying, but then he stopped competing after that.
And, And then he came back.
I don't know what the reason was.
He came back to men's physique a couple of years ago, right? Was it last year?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Well, he looks like his old self now.
Yeah.
Actually bigger than his old self.
Yeah, this is his best by a mile in this division.
How does he do with the Olympia, you think?
Really good. I'll tell you why. Because he's remarkably wide.
I just want more pec fullness.
Yeah, me too.
He needs more. He lifts up his delts too much. He's going to sit on his pecs.
I agree, Derik, 1,000%. A lot of it is presentation.
He's pulling himself up, and those pecs are looking sag, but he has pecs. So he's got them,
Yeah,
he's doing that because he's trying to look wider.
But he's so wide, anyways. His clavicles are so wide. I mean, from the back, his back can come up, but he's got great V. But from the front, those pecs are hanging. But I know they're there. He's got to sit on them more.
Right. I agree.
Second place guy goes to our gym. Mac, I think it is.
Yeah, the second place guy was.
He is thick.
Mark Robinson.
He is a thick boy.
Let's pull his pictures up. Since you mentioned him and you know him, we'll pull him up.
Yeah.
It's amazing how big these men's physique guys have gotten.
He is a big boy.
Yeah.
They're like I think they're bigger than the classic physique guys, upper body wise.
When he walks around, you think he's a bodybuilder. He's thick, He's an engineer. Busts his ass. He's doing the videos. He's doing his own content. He has his own podcast now. He's really.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's new at it too. He won the USA overall last year, and then he went to I think Chicago and took fourth in his first show, and then he just took second here. So.
Yeah, I always am amazed by guys that could, can do all the social media, plus train, plus do podcasts, plus do all, and then they have a real job too on top of it.
I'd like to see him get a little more streamlined. That's all.
I think he could have been harder here, to be honest.
Yeah, he's a little more streamlined. Get that waist down a little bit.
Yeah.
And, he's still young. He's new. Just has to get his presentation down and get him a little tight. You know who preps him, right? Who do you know of at our gym? Who's one of your other friends?
The little sexy.
Steve?
Pete Ciccone.
Yeah, Pete. Excuse me, Pete.
Dave, what happened to the big sexy out there, Dave?
He has a gym up in Oceanside, Metroflex.
Pete is a great. You know what? Pete's another guy who like Derik, ourselves, just loves bodybuilding. You think I can't get enough of it, and so he'll always be immersed in it. So yeah, you're in good hands at that. Now, have you worked on him at all? Maybe you need to carve some detail into those abs a little bit.
I haven't had him yet. No, I don't talk to him too much. He's really humble. He comes in the gym and does.
He probably petrified you, Derik, because he probably heard horror stories about you.
No, I think people probably back me up. That's all, because I worked on Pete last year, so he was like, "You don't hurt me as much as I used to." I'm like, I know, I'm a little soft now. I got to keep my clients around, not chase them away.
Unbelievable.
Derik, what you think of Nick Walker and Hunter? We didn't touch on that.
Hunter conditioning is awesome because he's guest posing right now at a couple shows. I mean, if I have to knock some, he looks a little bit bigger down below than up top. Like his legs are just exploding, but this looks like a little bit difference of size. I don't know if it's, just the pictures.
Do you see improvement you think he's improved since last year?
He may have, I think maybe in the back, but I don't see a dramatic change like I've seen in Nick and stuff,
Yeah, what
I
you
mean,
think?
Nick's interesting. Nick looks thick as hell in the pitch on there. It looks a little bit wide waisted on the stage, but the pictures he's been posting, he blows me away. Like I'm like, so I know when you're on stage, sometimes you're full and the shorts don't help, but I mean, he is blowing up everywhere.
Who wins dieted down, him or Lunsford?
Oh, those two?
Yeah.
You know, I have to say, shit. You know, I'm going to have to go with Lunsford.
Yeah, it's a good comparison.
I would like to see Lunsford do an open show this year just to see how he stacks up, because guest posing on a stage and getting on stage to compete are two different things, obviously.
Yeah.
But we've also never seen Lunsford where he didn't have to make a weight class. So.
That's my
dude. Dave, just Dave, go up and Dave. Put up a picture of the way he looked at the Olympia and the way he looked here.
Yeah.
It's
hold on. Everyone is speculating that he'd be a great open guy, right? If he didn't have to cut weight. Why not do an open show as an experiment so that you can see how he would stack up in the open class, and then let the judges tell him, hey, you know what? We really like you better, bigger.
They already told him that. I got news for you. Since I make predictions, that's the whole reason they lined him up on the quarter terms.
Oh,
that's the entire reason that's the entire reason.
Right, you can't line up an off-season physique.
It don't matter. You can get a good idea.
Yeah.
Nick Walker's off-season. So is Hunter, and so is Lunsford.
I don't think Lunsford would beat those guys in the open class, but you know what? Not now, but I think if he put on another 5 or 10 pounds, he could.
Go from the guest posting. Who had the best frontal bicep?
Well, I think Lunsford was probably in the best shape of anyone there.
Yeah, but because if Nick is down, Nick's going to look. His back to a bicep was stupid. That was just
gnarly. Yeah, gnarly.
That was Jesus.
There's a lot to Nick. That's why I asked you, Derik,
don't be surprised if Nick Walker doesn't win the Olympia this year.
He's coming on a mission.
Yeah.
His coach is all over him.
He never comes in out of shape.
His coach is on him. I mean, that coach he has is very on his stuff. You know what I mean? He takes care of him well and stuff like that. I have a client who has him, and he told me how detailed he was. You know, OCD, and just he's in good hands. I think.
Yeah, he looks.
Dominic, my friend Dominic is.
Yeah. He's very smart guy. I heard a very smart guy.
He's a nutcase, in terms of like every meticulous detail. So
23 minutes of cardio.
yeah. That's always good when you're very meticulous, and so I think they'll do well. Matter of fact, Dom is not even competing himself this year, just to really dedicate himself to helping Nick. But I don't even think I think Dom is good because it keeps Nick's head straight. But I think that Nick doesn't even need the help at this point. He's just a freak of nature, and he's on this upward trend, assuming, I pray for him that he gets no injuries or anything like that. If he doesn't have any injuries, he's going to be super dangerous. I think Ramy's going to be vulnerable this year. I don't think Hottie can really improve from what he was and what he's been the last 2 years. I think we're going to see a similar Hottie Shupin. And I think Nick's got more wow than Hottie does. I think he can beat him this year. I think last year he couldn't, but this year
his legs are going to be better because that little injury he had. His back is bigger. His arms are bigger, and I think they're keeping his waist in control. I mean,
and he's younger. That counts. Chris and I talk about that all the time. Young skin.
He's scary.
And you know what? I got news for you. Hunter's dangerous too because Hunter has got more size and he has great symmetry, which, as we know, symmetry guys look better as they get leaner and leaner. Obviously. Hunter got 4th last year, and he wasn't even that hard.
He was about 3 pounds harder than he was here.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I mean he's not that much off.
And that was the only time, Chris. That's the only time we've ever seen him off, too.
Well, we've never seen him. He's never been one yet to be like inside out. But he's improved. You know what I mean? The level of density and size has improved from year to year, which, sometimes it takes a while to let that size and density simmer in before you can really drag it down.
Yeah, I agree. All right. I want to ask you guys, Derik, have you been following this Colin Van Moger story?
Yeah, I've watched a little bit. Yeah. People Send me
I don't know if it's actually confirmed, but I think it is confirmed because, you know, from what I'm understanding, they're getting reports that he's in a coma in the hospital. Chris,
I saw that somewhere.
Have you followed the story, Chris?
No, not in detail. Other than I heard that he fell out a window or jumped out a window.
Well, yeah, I don't think he fell. I think he jumped out the window. Is really what happened. So
spinal injury or something, right? Some spinal issues.
Well, I mean, if you jump out a window, Derik, that's on the second story of a house, and probably more than likely you're going to probably damage your spine. I would think probably pelvis, legs, and stuff. So I think they have him in an induced coma purposely, so that, you know, probably because otherwise he'd probably be in excruciating pain, I'm sure. That's what I have to believe. I mean, no one really has definitive details. It's kind of weird that there's no reports from like news agencies, you know, out there, because he is kind of a quasi celebrity. I mean, the guy has over 3 million followers on Instagram, right? I mean, you would think that some news agencies would pick up this story, but they haven't. The story is, at least it's circulating out there for those people who might not have heard, is that supposedly he was involved in some drugs, and some you know, drug dealers or gang members were after him, and, you know, he was jumping out the window to escape them. I mean, I'm assuming he was probably high on drugs, because I don't think anyone in the I think I would have taken the beating rather than jump through a window, you know, on the second story. It's one thing what's on the first story, but, you know, jumping through a window on the second story is probably not a good idea. You know?
No. I'd have trouble on a one story window, let alone two. So
yeah, your judgment has to be a little impaired when you're jumping out a second story window.
Yeah,
but, you know, it's sad because the guy is such a talented guy. You know, I thought he was going to go break into Hollywood at that, you know, doing that Arnold movie when he was played Arnold Schwarzenegger. He obviously has a social media following, so people like him. You know, he does like a little bit of kooky, crazy stuff, but that, I mean, that's par for the course, isn't it? With the young guys today, and
yeah, they go like Regan. You guys talked about last week.
Yeah, I mean, Regan jumping off the roof, right?
I mean, that was bizarre.
I hear Chris Aceto is going to be skiing off his roof into the lake behind the house.
Yeah, Dave, I had to take a bathroom break there. So that's why Jake Wood doesn't hire me, because he doesn't want to see me at the Olympia like say, oh, I gotta go take a piss.
I heard that you're preparing to ski.
But I would show up, Dave. I would show up.
You would show up. You would.
But who are you making fun of?
I'm not making fun of anyone. I'm saying it's a shame that Colin Van Moger has you know, gotten to a place where he's doing very self-destructive things to himself. But I think it's almost slightly par for the course with this current generation of people that feel like social media is the only way they're going to get big followings and have people continue to follow them, and to do crazy stuff.
Dave,
Derik, are you making a cup of coffee for us over there?
No. I'm getting my cord.
Oh, my
battery's going. I got
Dave,
it.
when you have 3 million followers, your job is to entertain them.
Yeah. But you know what, Chris? Entertaining is like, you know, putting a clown mask on in Walmart and you know, scaring little kids. You know, jumping off out of a second story window, or you know, Regan jumping off the roof of his house over cement into a swimming pool. That's, I think, crossing the line. I think that's stupidity. That's like it's like you're daring the gods to take away this amazing gift that they gave you of an awesome, you know, IFBB pro caliber physique. You know,
well,
it's just
that's
stupid.
why I said it's all entertainment. It's all
At what point does it become self-destructive? You know,
the minute you wake up in the morning and you have to entertain.
Yeah, I had to mute Derik. He's making too much noise over there.
That's the answer. The minute you wake up in the morning,
yeah,
and you feel like there's a need to entertain, to keep people who don't even give a shit about you, the followers.
Yeah, you know what though. We're gonna work on this. We're gonna talk about this a little more on Iron Therapy with Leslie Timble on.
Oh my
tomorrow.
God! A new show, Iron Therapy. You need it.
We need. Believe me, that's probably the most needed show in all bodybuilding. Iron Therapy. Think about like the top 3 guys you want to have on that show, right? Colin Van Moger, number 1. You know who'd be good on that show? Who doesn't really need it, but he would be good because he's got very good insights into himself. Sergio Oliva Jr. would be great on that show, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah, he'd love to come on too. Everyone else, because everyone else would say like, I don't need it. I don't need to go on, and he'd say, yeah, I need it. I need it. And you know what he'd say? I learned a lot from the show. Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
You know who would have been great on that show too? He probably never would have come on, but he would have been really good on it. Cedric.
Yeah. Or Dave. Yes, he would. Yes, he would.
Yeah.
And
Derik, can you? We'd be like Cedric. Can you analyze Big Ramy, why he didn't show up in Pittsburgh? He'd give a whole dissertation.
Well, let me tell you.
He would, and yeah, he would.
That's the Cedric we miss. The Cedric who has all these brilliant insights. He's like Yogi Berra. You don't think he's smart, but he's actually so smart that he has these brilliant insights into human nature and people and what their motivations for doing things are, because he's an observer of people. And that's my shortcoming. I don't watch people. I'm not a people watcher. My wife does. She's a people watcher. I just, I'm in my own little cloud floating around. But Cedric I used to watch everything that people did, and he was very, very aware of that.
Well, Cedric Dave lived life the way it's supposed to be lived. I told someone recently, and they said, "What do you mean?" I said, "He enjoyed and lived in the moment."
Yes,
that's people go and they read books on philosophy, and they listen to self-help programs that ultimately teach people to live in the moment.
Right.
And Cedric lived in the moment, so he enjoyed every part of his day from beginning to end.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's true. Sure. We should all take a lesson from him, probably. Oh, by the way, speaking of living every life to its fullest, I am getting surgery on my foot on Thursday.
Finally.
Yeah.
How long are you going to be out for?
12 weeks in a cast.
Oh my God.
No weight bearing on it.
What are you going to have, one of those skateboard things? So
I was going to say a little wheel.
Yes, I bought one. We bought one. Amanda put it together. It was broken. You know what? I love Amazon and I hate Amazon. But the thing about Amazon is they'll take anything back. Like if something's broken, they take it back. But then what they do is rather than put it in the trash bin, they send it out to someone else.
Dave.
It's true. It's absolutely true. Yeah.
Two things. I saw something on Bloomberg. They took back like $1 billion in stuff last year.
Did they really? But you know what?
They don't eat
the cost. Whoever the person selling it is.
And for those people, for those deplorables who watch the show live, who make fun of me on Wayfair, do you know, Dave, on Wayfair, if you don't like something, a lot of times they say, well, would you like to keep it and get a 25% discount? So in other words, because they don't want it to come back. It's an expense.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do this. I can show you right out my hall.
Did you?
I have two undermount sinks and like 5 light fixtures where they said, just keep them. Just keep them.
That's funny.
It's too expensive for them to ship it back.
Yeah.
They said, why do you like it? I said, when I got it here, I don't like the looks of it.
I drove. I had to drive like 4 hours or three hours to Melbourne, all the way on the other side of Florida today, and then coming back because the guy works in my snake room with me, and we were picking up some snakes and some snake racks and tubs that we keep the stuff in. Some guy was selling. You can't get snake racks anymore because there's no raw materials. It's like the chips, and we're waiting for like a Ford Expedition, but the thing's sitting on the lot in wherever they make the cars for Ford, and because they're waiting for this little chip from the Ukraine to come in, which is never going to come in, obviously. So, anyway, so I drove like 4 hours, and we had to fill up this diesel truck. I've never seen $130 for a tank of gas, before. I've never seen it. I because my tank doesn't hold that much. I'm like, holy shit, man, gas is really expensive. Can't believe it.
How much is it there?
Diesel was like $5.60 a gallon or something like that.
How much is it out there where you are?
The 7-Eleven is usually the cheapest. It's like $5.68.
Yeah, that's where we go to 7-Eleven, and that. You're right. That's the cheapest. That's a lot of money. For diesel.
The most I paid was $6 like once.
$6.
That was, once. Yeah.
No, I don't even. Lee Priest is saying that his car is $100 for a half a tank. Yeah, but you guys have liters over there, Lee. You don't have gallons. We have gallons over here. So, but I guess it's still the same half a tank. So that's a lot of money. You guys, I guess, are paying a lot more over in Australia. Everything's more expensive in Australia.
Well, Canada's crazy too, right? Canada's like $9 or 10, right?
Is it really?
Yeah, it's way up there. That's like
I'll bet you. Oh, Hawaii's probably ridiculous too.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Everything in Hawaii is crazy.
Like 2 something, I think, a liter, because Canada goes by liters too.
Yeah. Look, we're living in a crazy world right now where there's a scarcity of everything, and you know what happens. If you guys remember from economics, when we took economics in high school. When the supply is down and the demand is high, the price goes fucking.
I heard you guys are doubling the fiberlize and just lying about it, saying we can't get it anymore.
You know, I don't know if anyone who watches the show is a manufacturer or has a supplement company, but the price of creatine
is off the charts, right?
And you know what the funny thing is? What I was reading something Bruce Neller, who's a very, very smart. He's probably the smartest guy with regard to supplements. Neller said that, everyone always bitches and complains about, I don't use Chinese creatine. We use German creatine.
Yeah.
Well, Neller said that the German creatine comes from China. So everyone gets it from one person. And in China's, they don't have enough people working in the factories there, so they can't produce enough. So the demand is so high and the supply is so low that the price is like 3, 4, 5 times what it was before. I stopped selling mine. I just said I'll wait until the price comes down. I'm not going to sell it.
People like to say it's from Germany because they like to
because Germans are known for good
German
quality.
engineering, or like it's a BMW or it's for God's sakes it's created from China.
Right. Yeah, Romano made a good point. On one of the last shows, he said, everyone's always saying how pharmaceutical grade, gear is better, like the testosterone is better and this is better. And I didn't know this, but evidently all the pharmaceutical manufacturers who make like Deca and testosterone, they all buy the raws from China. Every pharmaceutical company gets it. No one makes their own, steroids, anymore. So
like there's a Steris in New Jersey making, right?
All the manufacturers buy it from China, John said. All the raws come from there. It's funny. So what else? What haven't we talked about? By the way, if you guys want to check out all the pictures from the NPC IFBB Pittsburgh show this past weekend, they're on NPC News. I'm pulling all those pictures from there. Thank you so much for that. I saw Lorelei Chapatos won the bikini with Ashley Kaltwalker second. And Janet Ligon third. So
Laura Lee, she looked crazy.
Yeah, she's got. When I look at her body, I almost think like looks like she's a fake doll or something like that.
Dave, I knew. Let's just put me on the game show. We got to find. I knew you were going to say a fake doll. I knew you were going to say a fake doll. I was just too tired to even say it. In real life, it's even just between the proportions, the legs, the hips,
when she was at the Arnold and I saw her after the show, it was incredible. Like,
it's insane, right? How did she do at the Arnold?
She won.
She did win, right? Yeah.
But before that, remember she was a little thicker? So I worked on her back then. And then when I started, I was like, where'd she go?
Derik, who haven't you worked on? That's the better question.
Well, if you're with Aceto, I work on you. So
that's it.
Yeah. Buy one, get 3 free.
But yeah, before that, she was a little bit thicker looking. And then when I started to Arnold, I'm like, where did she go? Like her body just transformed, It's incredible.
It's incredible. Yeah, it's really, and it's pretty. I'm not impressed with that many people, but she has like real proportions, real freaky proportions on her body.
And one of the nicest girls you could meet.
Yeah.
On top of that, one of the nicest, very genuine.
Very genuine.
Another Canadian.
Yeah. Paying $9 for gas.
She's a real French Canadian too. You can tell she's got the accent and everything. So. I see Ashley Kaltwasser came. Ashley Kaltwasser is the Milos Sarcev of bikini. because she has done in the last 2 years like every bikini show, and she's won most of them.
Well, she's a Milos Dexter. That's what she is. She has the most wins too. So
I think she's the winningest IFBB pro in any division.
Yeah, she is. She's got the most, like 33, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's more than Dexter.
Dexter had like 29, right?
I don't think he ever got 30, right? I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. Pretty crazy. You know what people don't realize? When she won the Olympia, Ashley, she was like 9. She was like really young, like 19 years old. So she's been around a while, but she's not old. I think she's still in her 20s, right?
That's crazy.
We're just a bunch of old fucks, Derik. That's what the problem is.
Yes. This is my 20th year as a pro. That's how it tells me how old I am.
Yeah, are you still competing though?
I might do one of the Masters shows this year.
Would you do the Masters Olympia, Derik?
Oh, hell yeah.
You would?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
to say you did it?
Yeah, I mean, because I love to compete. I'm just not going to chase the ghost, Not going to kill myself, but as long as I can get back in good shape and, I've talked to Steve Weinberg. I said, tell me when it's time to hang it up. You know what I mean? Like things like that. Like I'm stupid, But I love it. I mean, as long as I don't push my body and hurt myself and doing that's going to damage me. I watch you guys' show and all the cardiograms and so forth. You scare the hell out of me, so I keep myself in check. Do I know? It's just because, we are older. Like, we talk about being over 300 pounds at 50. Just you can't do the things you were doing at 30. So I just try to, if I can keep doing what I'm doing with how I'm doing things, I'll keep going. And if I get, if I get tired or things aren't working, I'll walk away.
You know what it is about you, Derik? I just want to put a picture of Ashley up there.
Look at the legs.
Yeah, she's great. She got a very athletic physique. I like that. She looks like she's functional, and the stuff.
Yeah.
I think the reason why people like yourself, Dexter, have longevity in the sport. You're a neurotically nutty fucking guy who eats perfectly trains, but putting that aside,
it's this guy right here. It's this guy right here.
He's nutty.
You never get really crazy heavy, and I think that you're always pretty much in contest shape. You're not weighing 250 pounds in the off season, so I think your body is not getting as abused as some of these other guys' bodies, and so that you're at a functional weight for yourself.
I also you gotta stay in your lane. Like I used to squat 8 plates, and I do the stuff, and I don't put a bar on my back, but I can stack the belt squats. I can, 8 plates on a hack squat, but you just gotta know what I don't deadlift off the floor.
Gotcha.
Do some rack pulls, but I'm not doing 4 reps. I'm doing like 12 to 15 with like 3 or 4 plates compared to like 7 plates. So I just like a lot of guys think you guys talk about where you don't have to keep lifting heavy anymore. You just have to fine tune at this age and just fill the gaps in and not abuse the body.
You're not losing any muscle at this point, as long as you keep training and bridging.
And keep keep your stress down. That's the biggest thing I've learned too is just keep your damn stress down.
As long as Derik's bridging, he's fine, right? Oh my God! All right. Well, the question is, and you guys can maybe in the comments tell me what you think. Will we see Ramy on an Olympia stage? Will we see Ramy again for the rest of the year? I don't know. Until the Olympia, will he be at the Olympia? Those are the questions I want answered. Also, I want to send out some prayers and healing energy to Colin Van Moger. Hopefully, he can get out of this coma and get back to his life. Hope maybe the best thing that happened to him is, assuming he doesn't have any serious injuries, which I find it hard to believe that he wouldn't. Maybe being in this coma and being in the hospital will help him clean out from the drugs that he was doing and, come out of this better than he was before.
Very true.
And Derik, if you want to come back on the show, you got to fix your microphone for next time because it's driving me crazy.
Oh, we will, yeah. It's until my battery went, that's all. I was supposed to use the computer, but got messed up, so I'll be better.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Derik. And Chris, you were right. I have to say it. I bow down to you. You predicted Ramy would not be at the.
I'm gonna start writing. I tell you, Dave. Write it down.
Yeah, you're gonna be now the we're gonna call you the prophecy now.
Dave, you forgot all the predictions. There's been a lot of predictions over the years.
I know. This is the most recent one, so we have to give you accolades for this.
No, it was the one that I said 100% guaranteed.
Yep, you were right. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this thing up, as we say every week here at Heavy Muscle Radio.
The truth hurts.
Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week. Thanks, Derik.
Thanks.